Hi, my name is Miss Beri and I'm your child's math teacher for the 2020-21 school year. I'm just going to spend a little time going over what you can expect from math class for the upcoming school year. So the first thing I just would like to share is a little bit about myself. This is my 10th year teaching special education and my ninth year here at Cinnaminson Middle School, and I've loved every second of it. I have a bachelor's of education from DeSales University, and I've also minored in special education and psychology. I've earned my master's of education from Rowan University, and I have a concentration in educational technology as well as part of my master's program. So, what you can expect from Math this year, I teach both 7th and 8th, so I'm going to go briefly over 7th and briefly over 8th. So, for 7th grade, we do a lot of review of 6th grade material. We review whole numbers, fractions, decimals, integers, and probability. We're going to go over percents and their applications. We're going to further investigate some of those algebra skills that are going to become very important come 8th grade and high school. Then my biggest thing I'd like to focus on is applying these concepts that we learn in class and applying them to the real world outside of school, because the biggest question I get from students is, when am I ever going to learn this? And I try to answer that question as much as possible throughout the school year. For pre-algebra, our biggest goal is to prepare the students for high school. Math in high school gets a lot more challenging, and I want to make sure I give your children all of the skills possible to be successful in high school. Some of those important skills that we're going to cover are problem solving, integers, decimals, fractions, and percents. As the year goes on, we're going to dive further into solving equations and also graphing equations. And at the same time, we're going to be looking at inequalities and graphing them as well. At the same time, in 8th grade, we are also going to be focusing heavily on applying it to the real world, interpreting real world problems, turning them into graphs, and things like that. There are a couple major programs that your children are going to be using throughout the school year. So the first one is Google Classroom. We did it a lot last year, but with the way the world is today and the way school is, we're going to be spending a lot more time on the program. So all assignments are going to be posted. Homework is going to be posted. All worksheets, assignments, everything like that. They've already started turning in assignments that way. There's going to be very little paper turn in this year. So a lot of assignments, students are going to be able to take a picture of their work and just submit it through Google Classroom and give it to me that way. The next program we're going to be doing is Get More Math. It is a new program this year that I'm trying. It reviews a lot of the material that they're going to be working on in class, and we're going to be focusing a lot on this program on Wednesdays when we're all home. So what's going to happen is students are going to be working on their problems in Get More Math, and then at the same time, I'm going to be on a live Google Meet with the students, that if they are struggling on the program that they are working on individually, they can come meet me in the Google Meet, and I will be able to help them on the concept that they're struggling with on a one-on-one basis. IXL is, for the most part, is not new for all the students. They've done it in 6th grade and they've done it in 7th grade. I'm going to try not to use IXL as much this year for homework as I've done in the past. The reason is a lot of the students are on the computer all day Wednesdays, maybe even a lot even in school if they're in person. So I'm going to try and step away from online homework this year, and all students have been assigned a textbook and it should have been brought home. So a lot of those homework assignments are going to be in a textbook, just so I have the opportunity to get the students away from the computer and working, without that screen. However, there will still be IXL here and there, and a lot of the students are familiar with it. All the skills are broken up into different levels, and they have to either earn, maybe they have to spend 15 minutes or they have to earn an 80. It all depends on the skill and what I feel like is most important for them. And finally is Prodigy. I'm not going to be using Prodigy this year as much as I've done in the past, because Get More Math is sort of going to replace it. However, Prodigy is one of those games that I know a lot of the students have liked. So I'm going to let them keep their logins. If there's any students who don't have one, I'm welcome to make them one. And they can always go on Prodigy whenever they want extra review for upcoming quiz or tests or whatever that may be. So these are some I'm just going to end with this. These are some key words that I am focusing on this year for myself and for the students. So the biggest one is flexibility. With everything going on, with technology and things like that, already in the beginning of the year, there's been times that a printer hasn't worked or technology is a little iffy or all sorts of things can happen. So I want to stress for the students and for myself that idea of flexibility. If something happens, just go with the flow and it's going to be what it's going to be. It's kind of like my phrase for the year, because you never know what's going to happen. So I just want to make sure that I'm flexible, they're flexible, and at the same time, parents can be flexible, as well. The next thing I want to talk about is accountability. So with the way that the world is situated and some students are home, some students are in school, I want to make sure that everyone is accountable for their work. So if assignments are missing, have your children come reach out to me. We'll work together to make sure we get everything caught up. But I am not going to be tracking down students and making sure that the assignments from 2 weeks ago are made up. So I want the students to make sure that they are, accountable for their work. They're accountable for making up those assignments. And then that sort of leads me into the next one, and that is to advocate. I want students to start advocating for themselves in middle school because it's a very important skill, especially for when they get into high school. So if they're struggling, reach out to me. If they don't understand a topic, if they're struggling with technology and something's not working, reach out to me. I have an open door. They can come to me whenever they would like. Unfortunately, with the way the situation is, I cannot provide lunch help or after school help because we don't have those times. But my goal is to make myself flexible for any student who needs me. If we need to meet in that hour in the morning on a Google Meet, that's fine. We can work it out. If a student comes to me and says, Miss Beri, I'm struggling with this topic, when can we meet? I will make it work. But I want them to start that process of reaching out to me and understanding when they're struggling and going up to a teacher and saying, I need help. That's really important. I don't want any student to sit in the desk or sit at home and just have no idea what's going on. I want them to raise their hand, participate, and go from there. And the last thing is fun. I told the students on the first day of school that my biggest goal for this year is that they're taken care of, that they're comfortable, and that they have fun in here. The end of last year was very stressful. I know for me, I'm sure it was for them as well. And I just want them to have fun in here. I want this to feel as normal as possible. So with everything going on, I just want them to have fun. And as we go through the material, we'll have fun and we'll learn something along the way. So if you have any questions about anything that I talked about, you are more than welcome to reach out to me. I work well with email. If you do call, I will respond to you. I will call back as soon as I can. And I hope, we have a great school year. And the most important thing is that the kids have fun and we are flexible. And if you have any questions, please reach out to me and I will hope to see some of you soon. Have a great rest of your night.